So I saw Pro Football Focus address each NFL team's worst personnel decision in the last 5 years or so. And for the Giants, they said it was taking a running back at number 2 in the 2018 draft. Pro Football Focus could never have been more inaccurate. If we're talking about biggest mistake, how about instead of what they chose to do, let's look at what they didn't do. I'll tell you what the biggest mistake Dave Gettleman made. It wasn't selecting Daniel Jones. In fact, it was staying put at pick number 34 in the 2018 NFL draft and selecting Will Hernandez when you could have traded 3 draft picks up to select Lamar Jackson as your second pick in the 2018 NFL draft. All right, there was nothing wrong with taking Saquon Barkley. The way you see it in the first 2 rounds, really, in that scenario, it's like you're playing blackjack. I've always said this, Dave Gettleman is a terrible decision maker. However, there's no doubt his experience and really his time spent in the NFL did not go to waste. So I'm pretty sure scouting-wise, he definitely saw something special in Lamar Jackson, and he probably thought, oh, he's going to fall down to me at 34, when that was the worst thing to do. If you know there's someone really talented on the board, don't waste time. I mean, if you're going to really panic and take Daniel Jones, I don't see why you couldn't trade up 3 draft picks to get Lamar Jackson. I was banging on the table. I remember that draft night because I was excited when they took Barkley, and I was in the same room with my uncle, and I was banging on the table saying, you got to trade up to get Lamar Jackson. You talk about pairing one of the most impressive quarterbacks, prospect really, to come into the NFL, with Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham, as long as you don't trade his ass, which was honestly right up there too for one of his biggest, worst decision he's ever made. But you know what I mean. You keep Lamar Jackson with Saquon Barkley. There you go. You just hit 2 home run picks in the first round. You know what I mean. So, and then I would definitely give up the 2nd round pick. I would definitely give up a 5th round pick. Whatever it takes, you know what I mean? I mean, you're trading with the Patriots. I think Bill Belichick wouldn't mind taking a couple extra picks here and there in the mid, rounds. Keep the 3rd round pick because there you get who I was really, really, really pissed that Dave Gettleman passed on. But you get your future blindside tackle in Orlando Brown Jr., all right, who come out of Oklahoma, I thought was, in my opinion, my favorite tackle in that draft class. And I was like, he's going to be solid. Now, you look at this. Look what the Ravens have done. Orlando Brown's already a Pro Bowl. He's been solid as a blindside tackle. Now he wants to be out. And people from Giants Wire, whatever, all these New York reporters want to talk about how Dave Gettleman should trade him. Oh, he loves his O-line. Well, guess what? He had a chance to take him in the 3rd round, and he didn't. He didn't. So there you go. Those 2 decisions could have solely changed the Giants' future, outlook, because you're looking at a stud offense with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, Saquon Barkley as your running back, Odell Beckham, who you signed to an extension and you don't trade him, and then you got your blindside tackle in Orlando Brown. I know it's going to be tough to pass on Will Hernandez, but like I said, you got to play this as blackjack. You got your face card pick already with Saquon Barkley. You get your ace in the hole with Lamar Jackson, and you won. You won that draft. Orlando Brown is just going to be sprinkles, baby, but healthy sprinkles that's going to keep you, fully healthy and, durable for like the next 10 or 12 years, if you want to really say it like that. But regardless, like, that would have been the draft that gets all the speculation about Dave Gettleman being a bad GM in Carolina, just out of the water, like that would just completely disappear. Your first 3 picks in the 2018 NFL draft is going to be Saquon Barkley, Lamar Jackson, and Orlando Brown. You're talking about a team that potentially, even if they do bench Eli that season, I would have had no issue with it because you're putting in someone who's going to really be able to dodge, defenders at the same time, be able to throw a deep ball down to Odell Beckham Jr. or just dunk it to Saquon Barkley. I mean, come on. Lamar Jackson should have been a Giant the moment he stepped into, where was the 2018 NFL Draft Night. It wasn't at Radio City Music Hall, but I wish it was. But either way, that's really, to me, that was the biggest mistake Dave Gettleman has made in his tenure as Giants GM. And it wasn't something that he did, but something that he didn't do. And you could honestly say it was 2 for 1, really, not taking Orlando Brown in the 3rd round as well. But yeah, you talk about your offense finally being revitalized with those 3 picks. I mean, come on. I hate that. I hate it. You know, it's just, man, I wish I was in his shoes that draft night, because I would have made those decisions. Oh my God. How do you not pass on Lamar Jackson? I don't care if you think he's not quarterback ready at that moment. You got Eli Manning, an established Super Bowl winning quarterback right there. All right. You can easily have him sit behind Eli for a year and really learn. It's not a waste of a 1st round pick. In fact, you're investing into your future for the next 10, 15 years. And Dave botched that. If you would have drafted Lamar Jackson, like I said, if he would have traded up from 34, go up 3 draft picks, he was just 2 picks away from reality. When he got selected by the Ravens. But if you just jump up to 31, trade with the Patriots, prevent the Ravens from ever jumping up to 32 in the first place, just like how the Chiefs prevented the Saints from taking Patrick Mahomes, then you look at the snowball effect, and a lot of these future decisions doesn't happen. I don't see Odell Beckham getting traded with Lamar Jackson really lobbying for him to stay around. I don't see the Daniel Jones pick would have never happened with Lamar Jackson at helm. And once again, I think this is where you can think that Dave Gettleman is a terrible decision maker, because he passed on Lamar Jackson, but he took Daniel Jones, y'all. Crazy. But then, you know what I mean? Then wherever pick they have in the 2019 NFL Draft, they can get themselves a stud defensive player, whether it's a Devin Bush, a Josh Allen who could miraculously slip to them, or maybe they do end up with a 6th round pick still. It doesn't matter. And then you can continue to bolster your defense in the 2019 NFL Draft. By the time you get to 2020, you could just go BPA. And I damn know for sure if they were in the top 5 once more by some crazy chance, which I don't think would happen. But, like, you can't pass on Isaiah Simmons if he falls to you. You can't. So, that's really it, y'all. That's really it. So, Pro Football Focus, you're wrong. Completely dead wrong. Saquon Barkley was not the worst decision that Dave Gettleman made. All right? It was not making the decision to trade up for Lamar Jackson, as well as not sticking to your guns and taking the tackle where you should have taken him, which was Orlando Brown in the 3rd round. And you want to tell me, oh, they needed a tackle, so it was great to take, what's his name, Andrew Thomas. But he wasn't BPA. He wasn't a better player than Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons is going to be more of an impact player. I don't give a damn if they needed offensive tackle. They could have had that 2 drafts ago. People, they just don't really see all the dots connected and the puzzles just set out there. You just put the right pieces, and you don't have to force yourself to reach for a need like how they did for Andrew Thomas. I'm not saying Andrew Thomas isn't a bad player. Does he deserve 1st round grades? Absolutely. But he was not the best player to take at number 4. That was Isaiah Simmons. End of discussion. I'm just completely baffled, man. That's all I got to say. Y'all stay safe and stay blessed out there. Deuces.